Are you or someone you know looking to buy or sell a home? When you use a HomeGain Realtor to buy or sell a home, you can get $150. Visit HomeGain.com and click on the Promo 150 banner at the top of the page to get started. Compare HomeGain Realtors and choose your favorite. Complete your home purchase or sale transaction with a HomeGain Realtor, and HomeGain will pay you $150. Get started today by going to HomeGain.com. Welcome back, everyone, to Real Estate 360 Live. I'm your host, Ryan Sloper, joined today by my guest, Louis Cammarosano, the general manager of HomeGain. Reminder, the show is here and is dedicated to building the Washington, D.C. Metro's markets. We're giving you good free advice if you have ever any questions, concerns, or real estate needs, whether they're pressing or, whether you just have general questions about anything regarding the market. You're trying to buy your first home and you just have just a couple simple questions. There are no dumb questions here. Anything that I can do to help you make the right decision is what I want to do. It's 877-245-2030. That's 877-245-2030. Now, there's a couple crazy real estate stories. One came, it's somewhat, it's more commercial looks than residential, but a city in Philadelphia, they may sue a developer who spent $20,000 of his own money removing trash from a vacant lot next to his business, which I believe was a coffee shop. Louis, did you see that by any chance?
I did not.
Okay, so what happened here, I guess it's, he's got a coffee shop, but beside of his coffee shop is an empty lot that had just tons and tons and tons of trash. Well, he had went out and visited the local offices of the Philadelphia Redevelopment Authority like 4 times. He sent in a bunch of written requests and made phone calls all day asking the agency to help them take care of this and restore it because it was a major eyesore. And it was, hurting his business at that point. So he could never get them to do anything. So finally, he just took it upon himself, took basically $20,000 of his own money, and not only removed all the trash, but he also leveled out the soil. He added cherry trees, fencing, and park benches, and repaved the sidewalk. Well, lo and behold, now the city is upset, and they were coming after him because they're saying that he did not have access to this property. It was private property, and he was trespassing. And they're coming after him now for basically fixing up a property and making it look better.
So he wasn't trying to charge them he actually dug in his own pocket and made the improvement.
Dug in his own pocket, made the improvements.
He thrust them upon the community.
Exactly. Yeah. This is what we're dealing with in today's, day and time. It's literally insane. This guy spent $20,000 of his own money to basically fix up a lot that wasn't even his. And made it look, great. And he says now it's like a battle between him and the city because it's like, well, who gets credit for doing that? You know what I mean? He doesn't even want credit. He just wanted it to be cleaned up so he could have, a better image for his coffee shop. I just thought that this was just insane, but it's not surprising at all. I'm going to follow the story to see what ends up happening here. But, anybody that's willing to take it upon themselves to fix up something so there's not trash just sitting out in the open, I would think that they would be in open arms for him doing so.
See, the government goes into action to prevent something. They couldn't go into action to fix the lot, but they certainly will spend a lot of resources prosecuting this guy for having violated some code that he shouldn't have violated.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see if they actually make him go back and restore it to its original condition, which is dumping trash back on the lot.
Garbage to dump on it.
Right. That would be preposterous, but it would not be surprising.
Homeless people to live there, set up some tents.
Yeah. What would they have said then? They probably would have been okay with it.
No. If he does that, he'd be violating some other code.
Yeah, you're exactly right. There's another story I also read. I believe it was in the Washington Post. It was actually a homeowners association meeting that actually turned deadly. A guy, looked like his name is Mr. Yusuf Hindi, 55 years old, of Louisville. He pled not guilty to 2 murder charges and other counts Monday. Basically, what this amounted to is they had an HOA meeting, and this is all over a fence. He had confronted the Spring Creek Homeowners Association over a fence. He said it didn't meet its height or design requirements in the upscale neighborhood of Louisville, and he opened fire on this meeting and killed 2 people. And on an actual homeowners association meeting. And it's one of those things. I know that these HOAs can get very heated. I hear stories all the time of, people being upset that they can't paint their house, a certain color, paint their door a certain color. I wanted to bring this up because it is an important part of buying a home that's located in a homeowners association, is that you, the homeowner, you need to do your due diligence and make sure that you're reading the community's bylaws and find out if there's anything in there that's going to, potentially let you not want to buy that home anymore.
Right. It's not really private property for you to do what you wish. You contractually obligate yourself to those community rules.
Exactly. I mean, all too many times they'll say, every mailbox needs to be painted the same color. You can't have you can have American flags outside of your house put up, but not on a flagpole. I mean, there's millions of little different things on there. But if there's something that's important, like as far as you parking a commercial vehicle, and it says in the bylaws that you are not allowed to do that, then guess what? You took it upon yourself to not read those bylaws, and then you closed on the property, and then now you want to fight it after the fact. You're not going to win.
That's something that's different than, protesting City Hall. This is something you voluntarily agreed to when you purchased the property, to abide by those homeowner rules.
Exactly. And, and what you do when you're putting a contract on, you don't get, obviously, these bylaws right away. They have to request them from the homeowner association, and they're sent to you, and then you get to review them. You get a few days to review them. I just want to really, make an emphasis here, guys, that when you get those, I know it's not very light reading. It's hundreds, if not thousands of pages sometimes, but you could tend to skim through those and find the important stuff. A lot of it is their actual budget and things like that, how much money they've got in reserves, because they obviously have to release all that information to you. But the more important stuff, as far as fences, and can you have a pool, with your mailbox, your grass, keeping it to a certain length. I mean, all that stuff is in there. And it is an important part, especially if you've got commercial vehicles that you want to park outside. You may have to find another home that doesn't have a homeowners association. And, we have, crazy things like this, that this thing, this guy obviously got riled up enough to shoot two people. When lo and behold, I guarantee you it was probably in those bylaws that, the fence had to be a certain type of fence, had to be a certain height. He gets heated. He probably feels like it's him versus the world, and takes it upon himself to hurt people. So really, guys, I just want to emphasize that, you don't have to buy a house in a homeowners association, but don't think that, you're going to be able to buy a home in a homeowners association and then all of a sudden you're going to be able to get them to change their bylaws. It's probably not going to happen. So it's just I've ran into numerous transactions where people are trying to change colors of shutters and doors, and then they just do it themselves without getting the permission of the homeowners association. And you're going to get fined for that, and probably continually to be fined until you fix it back to the way it was. So it's just the story kind of led me to that point. I just think that it is important that if it is a homeowners association, to make sure that you're doing your due diligence and checking in and finding out if there's anything that you really don't like.
And Ryan, I would add also, there's also local ordinances that aren't part of the homeowners, but are actually local government ordinances that people should be aware of. Yes, from the city and the county. Yeah, you're exactly right. And I mean, a lot of people will be like, "Well, I had no way of knowing." Before you purchase that, sometimes it's good to check with your local authorities and find out if there's anything. Especially, I mean, in circumstances like to give you, and I'm trying to give an example here, would be, okay, like if you're trying to put a pool in your backyard, the county might say that you have to be, 20 feet from your back property line or 10 feet from your back property line, but you planned on doing something, different. Well, you're probably not going to be able to do that. And there's certain environmental regulations you may not be aware of, either at the federal, state, or local level. Yeah, then you also have you could have potential issues where, you have the drains for the sewers that they're put in, certain things that you can do there. It's just important, and it helps when you're working with a professional that can give you the guidance. A lot of people, I guess it's not brought up until later it's an issue, and then all of a sudden the homeowner is like, well, why wasn't I told this? And, you should have probably been told, hey, it's important for you to make sure that you're checking with your local authorities as well as reading your homeowners association documents. Because I doubt that many agents are just blatantly trying to hide anything from you. It's just there's small things that bug certain people that wouldn't bug other people. And, part of you buying a home is you really needing to dive in and do a little bit more further research. So that's all I'm going to say about that piece there. I believe the NAR came out with the statistics
Louis, was it 31% of existing home sales market right now is from first-time home buyers?
I didn't see that.
It was some, I don't know if it was an actual survey or where they got these numbers, but it was reporting that the first-time home buyer market right now is making up about 31% of the existing home sales market, which doesn't count any new homes that are new builds from builders. And
I wonder how they figure out somebody is a first-time home buyer.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask.
Are investors considered home? If you start a corporation to renovate houses or rent houses, are you a first-time home buyer?
Right, and I guess it's different by all different lender standards, because sometimes they'll say if you haven't bought a house or owned a house in the last 3 years, then you're now eligible to be a first-time home buyer again.
Right.
So, I would imagine these numbers could be very skewed depending upon whose definition. I mean, there's some lenders right now that'll say, you're considered a first-time home buyer as long as you don't own a home right now. So the next guy is if you haven't owned in the last 2 or 3 years. So it's all over the board. But, I would say that I would think that that number would be somewhat accurate, because if you figure there's about 1 in 3 people right now that are underwater on their home, and the only way that they can go and buy another home is if they have enough income to support carrying both payments. Well, the majority of people in the United States probably don't have that ability to do that. So, that means you got another 2 or 3 people that potentially might be able to buy and sell, and the average is people buy and sell every 5 to 7 years. So the majority of people that are benefiting right now and able to take advantage of these interest rates are people that have not owned or bought a home before, because they don't have to worry about getting rid of their other property that they're upside down in. They've been renting for the last, could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, and now they're able to purchase.
Well, the people that you really want to see be able to buy homes are the young people. You want to see college grads, people out of college for a couple of years, getting jobs, saving money, and entering into the housing market.
And I think that's where our biggest problem lies.
Well, I think you pointed out on one show, you already have a mortgage when you graduate college.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to add more debt onto it. And also you've got the negative experiences of parents and friends and relatives having been booted out of their homes. It's probably not the first thing you want to do once you get your feet.
Yeah, negative. Little bad taste in the mouth to start off with. We're coming up on a break. When we come back, the FHA short sale program may have cost HUD $1 billion in false claims. Not shocking. I'll reveal more of the details when we come back. Stay right there.